Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all about Arsenal's summer transfer window. Obviously the transfer window closed about 12 hours ago as we're recording. And I thought I'd just give a bit of a rundown on how the summer went, the incomings and the outgoings and what my opinion is of them. Before I get into this video, obviously I want to say massive welcome to the club, Piero Hincapie. The Ecuadorian has joined Arsenal from Bayer Leverkusen permanently, which is more on the loan, but it's going to be a loan to buy for next season, so that's cool. Yeah, it's a wonderful addition to the team. Obviously, this is one that we've kind of known about for the last 3 days, but it's finally done now. It's done just before deadline day, which is awesome. Again, he replaces Kivior, who we will be talking about later. But yeah, brand new centre back coming in, really young, really promising. From what I've heard, I haven't seen too much of him, obviously, but from what I've heard, he's a really, really good centre back from the Bundesliga. So yeah, I'm really excited to see him play for Arsenal, and yeah, welcome to the club. And we're going to be talking all about the signings. We've made 8 signings this summer. Now let's get straight into them all. I'll just give a little bit of an opinion on all of them and my reasons for that. So let's just start from the back and work our way forwards. Obviously, the first one would have to be the new goalkeeper, Kepa. We signed him, from Bournemouth, basically, which is cool. Had a really good season last season with them. There's a whole kind of meme culture around him, with him being at Chelsea, but I feel like he's a really good goalkeeper. Yeah, I feel like this is the one where everyone kind of knows where they stand. Obviously, he knows he's the backup goalkeeper to David Raya. He's probably not going to overtake his position. But having said that, he's an upgrade on Neto. Neto was next to useless for us last season. Played like one, maybe even 2 games last season. I think Kepa's going to play a lot more for us. Again, he's accepted that. He must accept that, David Raya is our starting goalkeeper. But I think he's more than capable of taking over if Rayo needs a break or if, God forbid, anything happens to him. In the cup games as well, we've got Port Vale in the cup coming up. I think, in the first few games of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, I think we could see Kepa playing for us in goal. I think he's a really decent backup. I think he's probably the best backup goalkeeper we've had since David Ospina, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm really keen for this. It was a super cheap deal. It makes sense for everyone involved. And yeah, I can't wait to see him play for Arsenal. To be honest with you, and I'm pretty sure he'll be playing against Port Vale. We played David Raya too much last season. Kind of relied on him way too much last season. I think it's nice to have a really good backup in the goal now to take the pressure off him a little bit. Maybe keep David for the Premier League and for the Champions League, and maybe play Pepper for all the other games. I wouldn't be upset about that. So yeah, really good signing. Obviously, really really cheap as well. A fantastic deal for the club. And next we're going to the defence. Obviously, Mascara coming in as a super young age, highly rated over there in Valencia. And he's come in and obviously was thrown into the deep end, playing pretty much all the game for Arsenal against Liverpool at Anfield. And did brilliantly. I would say he was probably our best player on the pitch. Handled Ekitike quite well. Pocketed him even, and yeah, really high hopes for this kid. I think he's going to do brilliantly. We don't know how long Saliba's going to be out for. We don't know what his injury's like, but no unconfidence with him at all. I've got total confidence with him in the centre back position. So yeah, another signing, pretty decent money as well. Looks like a really really good signing. So that's awesome. Obviously, Hincapie coming in as well, taking over Kivior. Kivior obviously I think pushed for the move. I think he wanted to have first team options elsewhere. I mean, he walks into pretty much any team really, especially abroad. And yeah, he's gone to Porto now. He's going to start every single game with them. He's probably going to have a really good career with them. So that's cool. It settles both parties, Arsenal and Kivior. And Hincapie comes in, and some people say was an upgrade. Obviously, I don't know that much about Hincapie, but yeah, Leverkusen rates him quite highly. By the way, Ten Hag getting sacked after 3 games is hilarious. Hugely overrated manager in my opinion. It's quite funny that he's been there for like 2 months and he's already got sacked. It's quite funny. Maybe this deal's got something to do with it. I don't know, but yeah, both our centre backs are really good options. Really young as well. room to grow. All our centre backs, all our backup centre backs have to be young now because obviously Gabriel's getting on a little bit. He's obviously the older of the two. Saliba's, depending on if his head gets turned by Madrid or something, I think he's going to be here for a long time. So we need someone, eventually in 2 or 3, maybe 4 years, to kind of replace Gabriel because I think his time's not limited, but he's approaching his prime year. So yeah, two really good centre backs. Really love it, and I don't have any complaints. And the money was fairly decent as well. It wasn't too much money for them. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then obviously the midfielders, Norgard coming in for Jorginho. Again, an upgrade, the Premier League captain. Premier League proven. He hasn't played too much for us yet, but I think he will. I think he'll get a lot of game time, in the cups and maybe the weaker Premier League teams maybe. But I think he's a really good upgrade on Jorginho. Also, Jorginho again, probably I think he pushed for a move out. I think it was time for him to move on. And yeah, Norgard's a more than adequate replacement for him. Don't have any complaints with him whatsoever. And then Zubimendi obviously coming in to replace Partey as well. Again, Zubimendi looks like an outstanding midfielder. Absolutely brilliant. You can see why we paid so much money for him. You can see why so many clubs, including Liverpool, failed to get him, tried to get him. He obviously chose Arsenal because that's what big players do. And yeah, he's done brilliantly. Really hasn't really put it wrong. The only thing I would say is obviously he gave the free kick away in the game against Liverpool. That caused the free kick to go in, but it is what it is. I would say that him and Rice, it's still clear that him and Rice still need to kind of form a little bit more of a tighter relationship. I think Rice hasn't had the best season so far. He's got very high standards, and I feel like Rice just hasn't been at it so far this season. Maybe it's because Zubimendi's coming in, he's got to get used to a new partner, I don't know. Odegaard not been playing very much. He played a few minutes against Liverpool, but that's not enough to be honest with you. And I think him and I think West and Zubimendi in particular need to form a bit more of a tighter relationship. Once they start clicking, I think our midfield's going to slap anybody. So yeah, really happy with both those signings. Decent money for Zubimendi, but again, he's a top player, and top players go for quite decent money. So yeah, pretty happy with them. And then also you got Eze and Madueke, top signings. Obviously, Eze in particular, going to him first. Palace's best player, one of the Premier League's best players over the last couple of years. Absolutely outstanding player. Haylender as well. He's got a really deep emotional connection to Arsenal, and it was just wholesome to see him come back to the Arsenal and hopefully he should have started against Liverpool in my opinion. I don't know why we didn't start him. He was already playing for Palace. He didn't have to go back to match fitness or whatever. But yeah, I think we're going to learn from that mistake. I think he will play. I think he'll start against Forest. Even if Odegaard's fit and ready to go, I think Eze still starts. Maybe on the left hand side because Marley had a poor game. But yeah, outstanding for Eze. I can't say anything more brilliant about Eze. I'm so happy. My shirt's on its way. You'll be able to see it over there when it gets here because I had to get a shirt. And then obviously we got Madueke from Chelsea. Massive surprise. Everyone's like, why are we getting him? We got him before Eze, before Eze in particular, because obviously he's an attacking player. And everyone's like, why are we going for Madueke for 50 odd million pounds? It's quite expensive. Again, another Chelsea player. And he's been arguably our best player so far this season. Outstanding. We didn't really miss Saka. I mean, we missed Saka against Liverpool because obviously Saka always comes up with big goals in big games consistently, and we missed that. But on the right hand side for the winger, just been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant for us this season. Obviously, it's only 3 games into the season. He's got still more to prove, in my opinion. He needs to start scoring and assisting a bit more. But been brilliant. Don't really have any complaints. Pleasantly surprised with Madueke. I feel like this is going to be a one where, by the end of the season, 50 million seems like a steal. So I can't complain with that, to be honest. And then obviously the big one, the striker, Gyökeres, scored a couple of goals for us already. Brilliant. Quite nullified against Liverpool, but having said that, we nullified Ekatike, so both defences did, dealt with each other quite well. It's just not the kind of game for Gyökeres, especially with not having Odegaard on the pitch for that much. But when we did bring Odegaard on, we could definitely, it was like night and day. Gyökeres was way more into the game, way more offensive. I think Odegaard and Gyökeres is going to have a really good partnership, hopefully. Obviously, when we get Saka back, we're going to have Madueke as well, Eze as well. Gyökeres is going to get, feeds, a lot of feeding, a lot of providing. He's going to be provided for quite well, is what I'm trying to say. It's just Liverpool. Their defense was brilliant. Their defense had the best game of their season so far. They've been leaking goals for fun, but everyone steps it up against Arsenal, and we just couldn't do it with him at Liverpool. But I think this season Gyökeres is going to get loads of goals purely because Eze is going to be setting them up. Madueke is going to be whipping the balls in. Saka's going to come in as well when he's back. Odegaard's going to be providing. I think Odegaard and Gyökeres in particular, like I said, I think they're going to form like a really good relationship. I think purely based on what I saw in Liverpool, because as soon as we brought Odegaard on, Gyökeres was suddenly in the game way more. So I'm looking forward to that. So they're all the signings, brilliant signings. To be honest with you, we needed a striker. We got one. Eze comes in as another winger, but also another provider for the midfield, which is great. Kind of cover for Odegaard, replacing Odegaard. Sometimes Odegaard last season didn't play very well. Didn't really have anyone to come in apart from maybe in Wineri, and he's not good enough in my opinion for that role yet. Eze comes in as a number 10 if we need to. Is just as good at the moment as Odegaard, and he can play on the left hand side as well. Maybe a different option to Martinelli, who's not having a good run of form for the last few months now. So yeah, brilliant signings. Attacking wise, our attack's way better. Our midfield basically is replacing players that have gone, but still, Zubimendi is an upgrade, and Partey, I don't care what anyone else says, and I feel like Norgard's an upgrade on Jorginho, so our midfield's arguably stronger with Rice as well. And obviously, all the other midfielders we have as well. Defence is better now. I think I would have kept Kivior, to be honest with you, and still got Hincapie maybe. But like I said, if Kivior wanted to leave, he deserves first team football somewhere. He's not displacing Saliba or Gabriel anytime soon. Even though he came in for Gabriel last season for a bit of a spell and did really well for us, to be honest with you, really impressed. Still, he deserves to be that starting centre back for a club, and he's got every right to go and want that. And Hincapie comes in, Mosquera comes in. They're both really, really young. They know that they're not going to be the starting centre backs yet. They know they have every chance to be becoming that. Gabriel, like I said, his time is somewhat limited with Arsenal in terms of his age, but they can see the opportunity in the distance, and they're all going to get game time anyway. Obviously, Mosquera's already got game time for us, and settled in really well against arguably the best team in the league. So I'm really happy. Obviously, Kebra, like I said, real cover for David Raya, we've been relying on too much. It would be nice to see him get a little bit of a rest throughout the season. So, yeah, as far as incomings, I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, we spent a lot of money this summer, but hey, we're not Liverpool. We didn't splurge like 400 million on in 2 months on like 4 players. So, our squad is so much stronger now, so much bigger now, which is brilliant. We lacked it last season. We suffered with Saka being injured. Odegaard was injured at a point last season. Gabriel, like I said, was injured for a little while. Injuries are going to happen. Look at the injuries we've got. Kai Havertz got injured in the first game of the season. We've still got Jesus to come back. And Saka, he's out for another 3 or 4 weeks. So, everyone's saying, well, why are we buying these players for? We've got so many. Well, yeah, but our players drop like flies, and we've always got injuries. So we need a bigger squad if we're going to compete with Liverpool this season, who have just bought Isak, on top of what they had against us in the weekend. They're the outright favourites now. We need to keep up with them. Man City is slipping up. I think it looks like hopefully it's going to be Arsenal, Liverpool chasing that title, and we need a big squad to do it, and we've done that. Andrea Berto has changed this football club. It's a historic transfer window in terms of incomings, the best ever for Arsenal. Brilliant in terms of quality, in terms of money, quality of player. You can't say anything more. The only thing we could say is maybe we should have got an out left winger. Eze's not that, but he can play on the left, and I think that's what we're going to be working with for the next few weeks. But maybe we could have bought Rodrigo on loan. Maybe we couldn't. Maybe someone else. I'm not sure. But that left wing spot is the only spot now for me. That's the weak spot. So and, it's not bad. And we got Eze to play there, and we got other players to play there as well. So it's not too bad, to be honest with you. Going to go into the outgoings now. People, this is where the weakest side of the transfer window is for Arsenal. We're just terrible at selling players. What I will say, I feel like this is the last vestiges of the previous regime, Edu. I think Edu just was not able to, whatever. Sometimes, some of it's transfer fee, sometimes it's contract length, it's the money they're on. Zinchenko as well, in particular, is on a lot of money. So there's a lot of different factors in selling players and how much you're going to get. You see Chelsea flog their deadwood for like 35, 45 million pounds consistently. They've made so much money this summer. It's ridiculous. Not sure what they've got, but I feel like this is the last vestige. I think every single player that we've got rid of this summer has been the last regime's kind of the consequences of their contracts and their deals and whatever from Edu and the last regime. I think we've got all them out now. I think pretty sure even loan or permanent. I think every player that we've got rid of now is not going to come back to the club. Quick rundown, obviously Rhys Nelson has gone to Brentford, which I think is a fantastic move. Don't know why Fulham didn't go in for him. I don't know why that didn't go through. But yeah, hopefully Rhys just needs to be fit for the whole season. For us as well as for him. Obviously he wants to start his career again. He's very injury prone, very injury hit. Unfortunately, he's a top player. He could have been a top player and he could still be. But he needs to be consistent in his health. So hopefully he can stay fit. Play a lot for Brentford. He's probably going to play a lot for them, which is cool. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what his contract length is, but hopefully it raises the money a little bit more. We can get a little bit more money from him next summer. I don't think it's an obligation to buy, so yeah, we still need him to do well so that we can get as much money as we can for him. Obviously, Kivio's gone to Porto, which is great. I think it's a loan, but it's going to be an obligation to buy. But I think that's only like £15 million or whatever it is. It's not very much, but every little helps really, doesn't it? Obviously Vieira, Tierney, Zinchenko, they're all gone. They've either been their contracts cancelled or ended, and or Zinchenko's place. I think he's got 1 year left of his contract. He's somehow managed to get him a loan move to Forest, which was funny because obviously that's where Edu is. That's cool. He's going to see out his last year of his contract over in Forest, and then by the end of next season, his contract will be done, and that would be it. Zinchenko's not a problem anymore, which is cool. We're basically getting rid of him a year early. We're not going to get any money for him. No one's going to buy Zinchenko. So, yeah, Partey obviously went on a free. Lokonga as well, I think, is gone as well. Tavares, Tomiyasu's gone on a free. Hines gone as well. Lokonga's gone. Yeah, Marquinhos got left on it. I think he got his contract ended. So, yeah, like I said, all the players from the last regime, all the players that are pretty much not good enough to play for Arsenal anymore, get rid of them, get them out. Take the L now. Just we're not going to get that much money for these players. Get them out. Once they're gone, that's it. Every player now that's in there, obviously, is Berta's responsibility. I think Berta will end up starting getting us a little bit more money, but in terms of Chelsea, I mean, Chelsea, you've got Strasbourg, and then, we're not going to be able to compete with them until Kroenke is by some kind of Spanish or Italian team that we can then flog our players to ourselves and make money that way. I mean, it's super dodgy. I don't know how Chelsea are getting away with it. They're paying themselves, they're buying themselves players. It's weird. It shouldn't be allowed, but it is. Apparently, Palace, was kicked out of the Champions League for less. Which is ridiculous, or the Europa League, I can't even remember which one they're playing now. Yeah, multi-teams, multi-ownership now is super murky. Some teams get away with it, some teams don't. City, for example, they've been getting away with it for years. Chelsea, they need money, they sell themselves a player to Strasbourg to generate money, and then they spend it, so it's kind of dodgy, but it is what it is. We can't compete with that, but we can start selling our players better. Like Saliba, we're tying him down to a new deal. If Madrid want to buy him, cool. 150 million, 200 million, it's going to cost them an astronomical amount. And that's great because that's what we need. And, if Saliba does go for 150 million or even 100 million, I wouldn't be too mad about it because, we're going to get our money's worth and we're not going to give him away for free. We're not going to do a Trent and, run down his contract, which is cool. So, yeah, at the moment, brilliant summer. In terms of incomings, brilliant summer. Perfect. 20 out of 10 for me. In terms of outgoings, obviously, we could have got more money for some of these players maybe, but it is what it is. The players that we got rid of needed to go. That's what I'm focusing on. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think about the transfers this summer. Who's your best player that we've signed? Who's your favourite player that we've signed? Hopefully, we got a load of new Ecuadorian fans for the Hincapie. That'd be pretty cool. Swedish fans, I think, already like Arsenal because of Ljungberg as well. So, yeah, let me know what you think about the summer in general. Obviously, other teams as well. Liverpool in particular, they're the winners of the transfer window, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think about the summer, and let me know what you think we could do with our signings. Who do you think is going to succeed? Who do you think is going to fail? Yeah, we'll talk about it in the comments. So yeah, I'm really buzzing, guys. I'm really happy. Welcome to the club, Hincapie as well, newest signing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the Arsenal shirt. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. This will be the last video now until after the Forest game. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, it's international break now, so have a good week or two. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon for the Forest game. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Adios.